One of the things we love to see in our students is them pursuing their passions. Our commencement speaker today has pursued his with vigor and determination. Townsend H. Porter Jr., or Tom, graduated from Michigan Tech in 1968 with a degree in electrical engineering. He joined IBM that same year, leading to a 27-year career where he has been credited with around 20 inventions, including the 3.5-inch floppy drive that so many of us probably have stuffed in drawers in different places, and IBM's first digital modem. Since his time at IBM, Tom has worked with management with Western Digital Corporation and Seagate Technologies. In case that wasn't enough, since retiring from Seagate in 2004, Tom and his wife Beverly purchased a vineyard in Napa, California. Some of you have been there, and I've heard you had fun there. His business and design skills helped him build a state-of-the-art winery and vineyard, complete with sensors for everything you can imagine, and is now producing 3,000 cases of premium Napa Valley wines each year. Also, 3 years ago, he formed a consulting company that provides services to the Mayo Clinic. Here at Michigan Tech, we believe in a culture of philanthropy, and Tom and his wife Beverly have given so much over the years of both their time and their treasure. We salute their generosity and their vision. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to introduce to you Tom Porter.
Thank you, President Moroz, Board of Trustees, faculty, alumni, and especially graduates and your family and friends. It is a profound honor and pleasure to be part of the recognition and celebration of your graduation today. In the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about three things: the imperative to re-educate, the power of teams, and technology intersections. To begin, a bit of history. 2015 marks the 50th anniversary of Moore's Law. First proposed by Gordon Moore at Fairchild Semiconductor, he observed that the number of semiconductor devices on a chip was doubling every 2 years. He suggested that that would continue for the foreseeable future. Nearly every technology today has since adopted and applied that to their domain. For example, IBM invented the hard disk drive in 1956. And by the time I retired from industry in 2004, the cost of data storage had declined by 1 billion times. So data storage is essentially free today. And of course, computational power, communications bandwidth, and virtually every other technology has been following Moore's Law as well. But you know all this, probably much better than I. This headlong rush of technology begs a very important question. How is it likely to affect your career path and your life? Here's one way that your life will be affected for sure. My dad had a single career that spanned nearly 60 years. He was 77 when he retired from the company he joined when he was 18. By contrast, I am now in my 5th career. My first lasted 10 years. After I graduated from tech, I joined IBM, wanting nothing more than to be an inventor, creating something that did not exist before I thought of it was somehow magical. And around my 5th year, IBM asked me to become an engineering manager, and I said no. And every year thereafter, for the next 5 years, they asked again, and I said no. How could I make an impact if I was not doing engineering? Then one day, a senior manager called my bluff, and he said, if you really want to make a difference, then become a manager and lead a team of 10 engineers. Think how much leverage that would give you to make an impact. I knew nothing about managing people, so I went to school. I read and studied everything I could find on leadership and how to build and lead successful teams. In a few years, I was asked to be the director of engineering for hard disk drives for IBM. Thus started my 3rd career as an executive. So it was back to school. Finance, business processes, technology planning, and marketing, all new to me. In 1997, I accepted a job at Seagate Technology as Chief Technology Officer, leveraging the capabilities and energies of 4,000 engineers. Back to school again. I set up multiple cross-functional discipline teams to develop an innovation pipeline that spanned basic research, advanced technology development, product development, and advanced manufacturing. The goal, shorten the whole innovation cycle by a factor of 3. The teams met the challenge, and it transformed the company. My old manager had been right, the power of teams. Multiple minds from multiple disciplines engaging a difficult problem. I retired from Seagate in 2004 and started working on my 4th career, my dream career, to own and operate a vineyard and winery. So in 2005, my wife Beverly and I purchased 20 acres in Napa Valley, and it was back to school, reading and studying everything I could on viticulture and winemaking. And I hired a great team, winemaker, viticulturist, engineer, and a cave digger. We spent the next 2 years designing and building a state-of-the-art 17,000 square foot winery underground. And my last career iteration began 3 years ago when I met a young Mayo Clinic MD PhD researcher at a conference. He was doing research on stem cells for congenital heart disease for infants. A philanthropist who has a child with a serious congenital heart defect made a huge bet on him and his embryonic but promising technology. We discovered we had a strong common interest in technology innovation and how to commercialize technology, and he asked me if I would come and consult with him to help him develop an innovation pipeline, a business model to self-fund his research, and structure an organization for effective cross-discipline teams. While I've only been peripherally involved, this has been perhaps the most satisfying leg of my journey. The first few infants have undergone this procedure, and expectations are high, with plans to complete the first study in the coming year. Stem cell therapies are finally making the transition to patient practice. As one of Tech's profs recently said, here comes the sage on the stage part of my talk. So what did I learn from this journey? First, I would estimate that today's career half-life is not more than 8 years. In another decade, it will be 5. Many, if not most of you, will have multiple career and jobs. 6, 8, maybe a dozen. This means you will have to constantly re-educate and reinvent yourselves. The fact that you are graduating in this graduating class today says you already know how to do that. The 2 most important things I learned at Tech is how to learn and how to think critically and creatively. It is no accident that Michigan Tech has the 10th highest starting salaries in the country among public universities. Next, whenever possible, form or become part of a team. Cross-discipline teams in particular make teamwork a part of who you are, and then learn how to lead teams. Practice being a team leader until you are one. Now for the hard part, choosing your career. You're probably thinking, what's he talking about? I've already chosen my career. Yes, the 96% of you that are part of Michigan Tech's awesome placement statistic do have your first career locked and loaded. I'm talking about the one after that one, and the one after that one. If you accept my premise that you will have many careers, the sooner you start thinking about your next careers, the better. Prepare for when your current one morphs into something you're no longer passionate about, or becomes obsolete, or you suddenly realize you would really rather be running your own company. Ideas and plans for your next careers require time to germinate, and they don't evolve into something actionable without frequent mental revisits. So where should you look for the next thing that might stir your soul or ignite your passions? Look at the intersections of technologies. Moore's Law changed everything in the 40 years I was in industry. For the early years, technologies were like isolated pebbles in a calm pool, spreading ripples, building larger and larger peaks and trough, creating enormous opportunities and huge disruptions at the intersections. Today's smartphones sit at the intersection of 250,000 patents and have profoundly changed the way we do almost everything. A more recent example, Uber, founded in 2009 at the intersection of the technologies of smartphones, GPS, and cloud computing, it has in 6 short years become a $50 billion company and is disrupting the taxi industry worldwide. One last example, on the near-term horizon is a technology that will disrupt the world's largest business ecosystem, transportation. Last week, I had the opportunity to drive a new Tesla Model S. After some brief instruction, I headed for the freeway, set the adaptive cruise control at 75, and then engaged auto steer. For the next 20 minutes, I never touched the accelerator or the steering wheel, although my hands were maybe 3 microinches away. When a slower car moved in front of me from on the on-ramp, the Tesla slowed to follow a fixed 3-car distance. I clicked the left turn signal, and when the Tesla sensed that the left lane was clear, it steered to the left lane while accelerating to 75 miles an hour. It may very well be that my 6-year-old grandson never has a driver's license. Fully autonomous cars from Google and trucks from Mercedes are on the road every day, with their teams refining and preparing them for release to market. A guess, thousands on the road in 5 years, millions in 10. Autonomous cars will be so much safer that we will be debating whether we should allow anyone to drive. The stakes are huge. Every year in the US, 5 million accidents, 2 million serious injuries, 33,000 deaths. Worldwide, 1.25 million deaths from automobiles every year. Whole job categories will become extinct. Taxi, limo, bus, and truck drivers, auto body repairmen, insurance agents, and beneficially, even a few ambulance-chasing lawyers. This same level of profound disruption is coming in every industry: energy, medicine, education, farming, manufacturing, and construction. The Industrial Revolution happened over a century, 5 generations. The smartphone became ubiquitous and indispensable in a single generation. Genomics, stem cells, and gene splicing will revolutionize our biologic industries of medicine and agriculture. Artificial intelligence will transform every industry in perhaps a decade. So here's the big rub. What critically important industries do you suppose are not changing and improving at this hyperbolic rate? You would be correct if you said that the systems that govern our societies, indeed our use of technology, are legal, legislative, and social systems. They are only changing linearly, at human speed, the same rate today as 100 years ago. One could even argue that our increasingly polarized and bifurcated Congress has dramatically slowed improvements from these systems over the past dozen years. Why do you suppose that is? Arthur C. Clarke said, "Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic." Now, magic in the context of a card trick is fascinating and fun. Magic in the context of genetic manipulation to engineer our food, or the use of stem cells to repair a newborn heart, is exciting with promise, but also frightening. For people with active negative fantasy generators, these technologies create paralyzing fears and irrational behaviors. It is more important than ever that those of us with a technology background engage in the conversation of how to regulate and control technologies in a positive and beneficial way. It is our responsibility to help people understand how the magic works. Finally, you are destined to become the world's technology leaders in a few short years. This is an awesome responsibility. Peter Diamandis, author of the bestseller, Abundance, The Future is Better Than You Think, said, "An expert is someone that can tell you exactly why something can't be done." Avoid the curse of the expert. Become world-class, but never an expert. And remember, never stop learning. Make teams an integral part of your life. Find the technology intersections. I will be forever grateful for my Michigan Tech education, and I know you will be too. Good luck to you all.
Thanks, Tom. We're pleased to recognize Tom for his many accomplishments, from IBM and Seagate to Napa Valley. His experience, leadership, ingenuity benefited countless lives. We salute him and award him an honorary Doctor of Philosophy degree today. Look at it.
For me, I can't imagine, I've never had an honor that moved me more than this. This is profoundly important to me. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Board of Control, Board of Directors. I'm a little choked up. The other person I'd like to thank is Beverly, my wife. I've said for many years that she carried the big end of the stick on the home front, and I've come to recently realize that, in fact, she carried the whole stick on the home front. She was always there to catch me when I tripped. She was there to encourage me when I failed, and she was truly the wind beneath my wings. So, Beverly, thank you. Thanks, everyone.